You're watching Pulse for the 31st of August, and it's time for some Diablo news. In this week's episode, we take a look at a pretty cool character resource preview that was recently posted on the official Diablo III Community Site, some more beta and beta invite news, a bit on Diablo III Mod Support, and more. Let's get started. With the beta apparently edging closer and closer, Blizzard continues to tease. Just a couple of days ago, we got a glimpse at each of Diablo 3's classes' resource systems. I will say now that most of this information was already known, but hey, there's a lot of cool new stuff here too, mostly in the form of these amazing new visual representations of said resource systems. In my opinion, it's great to see that everything does indeed seem finalized, and that shines even more hope on our release date and beta plights. Right now though, let's have a look at what we were given. So, Barbarians use Fury, which you gain by both landing and taking hits, and much like World of Warcraft's Warrior class, some skills will give more than others, and some will use more than others. Also worth noting is that Fury begins to deplete if you are out of combat for too long. The Demon Hunters out there have to manage a duo of resources, Hatred and Discipline. Hatred is a very quickly regenerating resource used to fuel a lot of the Demon Hunter's offensive abilities in the heat of battle, while Discipline regenerates much more slowly over time and affords the use of tactical skills, when the moment is just right for controlling opponents. The Monk's skill system works in a similar way to the Barbarians, but doesn't deplete while out of combat. As you can probably tell, he excels at close quarters combat as well. Unlike the Barbarian, however, the Monk doesn't benefit from being hit by foes and cannot afford to take nearly as much damage. The Monk has various abilities that generate spirit and a couple that only drain it. Witch Doctors use the one that we all know and love, Mana. Mana will slowly regenerate on its own and has a much deeper pool than the other resources, but the Witch Doctor also has key skills designed to replenish his or her reserves, such as Mana Steal or Spirit Spells that can return mana whenever cast. I think you all know Mana. Wizards use their regenerating yet shallow pool of arcane power. It supports all of the wizard's magical spells and abilities, some of which actually reduce the wizard's maximum arcane power for their duration. Unlike the other classes, using skills will only drain your arcane power, so you might have to pace yourself a little during combat. Along with all of these, you can obviously read about your life pool, which I think you don't really need to hear anything about from me. Now the choice is yours, pick your favored class and learn to maximize the benefits of the resources at your disposal, rendering you an incredibly powerful hero and deadly foe of the forces of darkness. Check the post titled Back to Basics Class Resource Systems out on the official Diablo III community sites and enjoy. Next up, a bit of talk about the Diablo 3 beta. Yes, we've been talking about that in pretty much every single episode, but now I guess we have something pretty substantial to talk about. Blizzard have begun what they call their early media and fan site outreach in preparation for the upcoming Diablo 3 beta test. All that means is Blizzard are collecting the Battle.net account details of the people that are going to be in the first wave of the Diablo 3 beta invites. That would be, as I said, the media outlets and the big fan sites. Some of the big fan sites, such as Diablo fans, have mentioned that they have already received these emails, so that's great news and no one will be starved for content when it comes out. So if you are in fact interested, you can check the email out that Blizzard was sending to all these people. It does in fact mention that there will be no NDA associated with the beta test, but we did already know that. Lastly, Bashiok from Blizzard just mentions that emails from Blizzard will never ever ask you for your password, and if you are selected for participation in the beta test, you won't need to click any links in any corresponding email that you'd receive from them. There's not much more to say about that. It's great to see that Blizzard are collecting all the details that they need to get this beta test underway, and I absolutely can't wait for it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this below. Do you have any estimates on when the beta will actually start? Do you have any fan sites or YouTube channels that you regular that'll have really great content on Diablo 3 and the beta? I'm always interested and I'd love to know. So next up, Diablo 3 Mod Support. Now I will say straight up that it's not going to happen. In another quote from a Jay Wilson interview that popped up over at PC Gamer, Jay mentioned that if they were going to add mod support to Diablo 3, they'd have to add a couple of years onto the product's production. Is that something we'd really want? He basically just says that people have the wrong idea. They look at Blizzard and they think, well, you guys are so big and you have so much money, you can do everything for your games, right? Well, the answer is no, they can't. There are many things that they want to do, but they just don't have the time and resources for it. That said, they did look into it and they strongly considered it, but you know what? Diablo's never supported mods and people have been okay with it. They played it and I gotta say they played it a lot. So, is anything going to change with Diablo 3? Are people actually not going to pick the game up for that reason and that reason alone? In my opinion, the bigger trouble stirrers right now are definitely the always online thing and the real money auction house. But hey, I'm okay with all of it and I just can't wait for the game to come out. Now, we have spoken about this before, but I do really think that with the time and resources Blizzard are putting into the game, I do think that they'll cover absolutely all the players out there's wants and needs. So, let me know what you think about it and read more below. In one quick extra I wanted to shove in here before the smalls, it looks like the chat gem on the Diablo 3 Community Site is more than just for show. Or might be in the future sometime. It's just been discovered that there are two objects in the source code of the page called the D3 gem and beta sign up. Yes, that second one does sound quite good to me. These objects are not yet defined, they're not linked to each other yet, but basically every time you click on the gem, a counter increases client side, but it doesn't actually link to the beta sign up function yet. So would that perhaps be some alternate way of getting into the beta someday? Who knows, but it's worth thinking about and you can read a lot more about it below. I think with this being uncovered and the beta starting soon, we're gonna have a lot of people wearing out their mouses before they even get into Diablo 3. With that done, let's head on over to the Diablo 3 Smalls. In the Smalls this week, over at the official site, some blue posters have just mentioned that we should all update our Diablo 3 beta profiles. And along with that, beta opt-in instructions have also been uploaded, so you can check those out to see how to actually opt in for the Diablo 3 beta. Then the first Diablo 3 art gallery update has been posted over on the Diablo 3 community site. Over at Diablo Inc. Gamers, you can read about the Activision Blizzard Investors presentation happening soon. There are some new cinematic views of monsters and Mount Arreat. You can check out a rumored legendary sword in a couple of screenshots. And speaking of screenshots, there are some leaked Gamescom screenshots to have a look at. Then there's a video interview with Alex Mabry and Jason Bender. Another interview with Jason Mosquera, which was also done at Gamescom. Then have a look at Diablo 3 Weekly Wallpaper number 96 and Diablo Fan Art Watch number 107. Check out the Diablo Podcast number 36 for August the 26th and One Life to Live number 3, As I Lay Dying. Now here's an interesting one. Forget about Diablo 3, how about Diablo 5? There are apparently cows in Diablo 3. That's an important fact that a lot of people were wondering about. You can have a look at Diablocast episode 23, You Are Not Prepared, but We Are. Purgatory for August the 29th, 2011, and two pretty interesting Diablo 3 related songs. The first is titled The Dark Wanderer and is an entry into the 2011 Blizzard Original Song Contest, and the second one is titled All I Need Is a Beta Key. I think you all know what that's for. Then you can have a look at some Brief Ninja gameplay movies from Gamescom, yes, new ones, and Diablo Inc. Gamers are running a contest right now and giving away 50 Path of Exile beta keys. It's going to be over soon, so you better check it out as quick as you can. So sadly, that's all I have for you in this episode. That's all there was in the Diablo 3 news. You can check the links below for even more than I mentioned here. There were a couple of interesting blue posts to have a look at and various other stuff. Well worth having a peek at. Anyway, thanks for watching. Remember to like the video, favorite it, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Most importantly though, happy Diablo 3 character resource systems.